it's your girl Fennella. Like, whoa, welcome to this video. Let's talk about how you're gonna go to New York Fashion Week for the first time, maybe the second time, maybe you just want to do it better. I am so excited to talk about this. Last time I did a Fashion Week video was years ago. I also did a Fashion Week guide, which you can get down below. I'll talk about that later. But I just want to get right into it because this is going to take me time because I have so much. I've gone to New York Fashion Week maybe like 4 times, and I've gone to Paris Fashion Week twice. So I know a lot about Fashion Week. I've been featured in Vogue through Fashion Week, BuzzFeed, Afro Punk, The Guardian, and all of that. And I just really believe if you really want to go to Fashion Week, you should go because it changed my life. That's a whole other story. It really changed my life. It changed my life so much. It changed how I view fashion, how I view my calling. I highly recommend people to go. Okay, so let's just get into it. So what is Fashion Week? So multiple times a year we gather for Fashion Week. Now the most popular Fashion Weeks are in fall. So that's the month of September. We have New York Fashion Week first, then we got London, then we got Milan, and we end with the bang with Paris, okay? But there's other fashion weeks throughout the year as well. We're talking about New York Fashion Week mainly today, but really what I'm saying, because I go to Paris too, it's basically the same. The same method that I used to go to New York Fashion Week is the same method I use to go to Paris Fashion Week. And I've sat front row in New York Fashion Week, and I've also sat front row at Paris Fashion Week as well. Just, I have so many stories, but I'm just trying to focus on the information. I was video with you forever. So what happens at Fashion Week? So at Fashion Week, there's a lot of shows. There's runway shows, there's presentations, you know, there's even events. There's dinner parties, there's networking events, there's after parties, there's brand events now because of influencers and content and social media. A lot of brands host like dinner parties at Fashion Week because they're able to get a lot of influencers from different places in one place easily. And this is why I had to make this video again, a new one, because so much has changed. Although I do believe my old video from my previous guide is still bomb information and very inspirational too, because when I first started like really going, but I still feel like there's certain things that have changed. Like now I would say there's a lot more brand events. Now I would say that there's a lot of influencers at Fashion Week. There's a lot of content creation. TikTok has changed Fashion Week a lot, where people are doing vlogs, days in their life. But we'll talk about content a little bit more later, but that's what happens at Fashion Week. Now this is probably the most important part of this video, is how do you get into shows? So there's really a 3-step simple process that I could say to get into shows. It's one, you need to make like a media or press kit. This is to show who you are, show your brand, show like what you do and all of that. It's kind of like your resume or portfolio when it comes to like working with brands and getting into shows and things like that. The next thing you need to do is research all the emails. So like you can go online, it's like Fashion Week online, so that you can get all the emails. It takes forever. So I do already have them all compiled in my Fashion Week guide. So if you purchase the guide, you get it. And I also give you methods and tips and tricks on how to email in a way that's very fluid and very easy and not confusing as well. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to craft your pitch. You're going to email these brand designers. Really, you're emailing the PR of the brands and designers. You're gonna be emailing them that you want to go, right? And you're gonna do it in a certain format of just very straight to the point of like, hello, who you are, what you want, and here's my press kit. That's it. Like, keep it very simple because they get so many emails that you don't want to overdo it. That's why I recommend having a press kit, media kit to do the heavy lifting for you. So if you get my Fashion Week guide, I also do have a template in there of exactly word for word what I say to get into shows in New York and Paris. You can literally copy and paste it into the email. I also do have another template of what I say to pull clothes from designers, because Fashion Week, we'll get into what to wear later, but you want to like basically ask designers for clothes if you can, because it can get very expensive trying to look cute during Fashion Week. So if you can pull, they love that because brands love to be seen during Fashion Week. They love to be seen on people. They love to get press. So when you're featured in the press wearing their clothes, they're happy. So I also have a script template of how to pull clothes from designers, and I have the other one of word for word what I say to sit front row at New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, all that. This is in my guide, which is linked down below. But if you can't purchase the guide, watch this video and just do these tips, because the advice is gonna work. Rock and push your brand while you're there. So let's get into all of these other things. So let's talk about where to stay. Now, if you purchase my Fashion Week guide, you know that I have a whole ebook telling you like where to stay, what I advise, and that. Basically, I honestly always advise staying with friends. If you're a big influencer, I advise pitching to hotels way ahead of time, asking them if you can stay with them in exchange for content. But make sure you do that way ahead of time because they get so bombarded with requests. Because remember, it's not just influencers, bloggers, and press going to Fashion Week. It's also like fashion buyers and other designers, all of that going as well. So you want to make sure that you're doing things way ahead of time, right? Just like with the emails, you want to make sure you're sending these emails about maybe I would say 3 to 5 weeks in advance. And if they ever tell you, hey, you know, we're not ready yet, you know, make sure you have a process to follow up with them. This is what like I'm gonna go over that more in like my Fashion Week guide of how I make sure that I don't get confused with the emails, because it can get very confusing when you're emailing these people, and how I make sure that I get into shows, because you'd be shocked how many times people don't get into shows because they're not up to date with their emails, they're not emailing properly. There is a proper way to email these brands and to get their attention as well. Of course, with like where to stay, there's also Airbnbs, but Airbnbs are not really like that welcomed, I think, in New York City. They don't really have, I don't know if it's like not legal there or what, but it's not really like the best place for Airbnbs all the time. I highly recommend, of course, staying with friends or family if you can. That's how I did my first fashion week, where I got featured in Vogue. I was really on my cousin's, their couch. And people say, oh, don't do that, but do what works for you, you guys. Like, don't make people make you feel like you have to stay at a luxury hotel. Like, stay where it fits your budget. That's why I always recommend, if you want to budget well for Fashion Week, to book your flight in advance, stay with friends or family, pack snacks, eat at the house when you can, eat affordable meals, and also to pull close friends and designers, because that's going to save you a lot of money. Versus if you go and you're flying first class, if you go and you're trying to buy all these new clothes and designers, and if you go and you're trying to like get this elaborate weave and do these elaborate, like all these elaborate things, you'd be so surprised how you can do more with less. Like my first Fashion Week, I spent the least that I ever have on Fashion Week, and I got featured in probably the most publications. I think it's because like I was just very bold and I had so much faith. And I really believe that these spiritual principles really do work, of like being bold and walking out and stepping on faith. Sometimes they work better than people spending a bunch of money, because money cannot buy anointing. I just have to say, like, it really can't. I really believe like if your heart is genuine and you really want to go, go. I highly advise anyone who's really into Fashion Week to go. Go to Fashion Week if you want to go. Don't let another year pass where you don't go, because when you go, you kind of learn how to maneuver it. It's like you kind of learn how it works. So another way to get into Fashion Week is not just to go there as a blogger, influencer, or press, but you can also go to Fashion Week as press, but like as a journalist or writer. Now, this is one of the best ways to actually really get into shows, is to make sure you have like some kind of publication that you write for. And if you don't, create your own publication, create your own blog, because although new media and TikTok, all those things are great, some brands just want to be featured in publications. So this is why I tell people, if you're a writer, someone who loves writing, try to write for these different fashion publications or these different brands or fashion section, because that's another way to get invited to shows and events for brands and designers as well. Okay, so let's talk about what you should wear during Fashion Week. Now, if you get my guide, I go into like the type of things you should wear. I'm gonna briefly go into it here or whatever. And basically, you should be wearing like bold statement items if you wanna stand out. So girls, it's the afros. If you wanna get photographed and you're a woman, wear an afro. Like, they love the fros. They love the fros. This is my afro. I got this from Lifewo Wigs. It's my wig line. You can check it down below. You can use the code Lifewo to get you one. I got this in all different colors. I even have this larger one that's even bigger and it's dope. I got black and gold, blonde, burgundy, white, black, all of that. But they love fros, they love braids, they love unique hairstyles. So this is the time to be bold in how you express yourself. Fashion Week is not the time to shy down. Fashion Week is not the time to be like, oh me, I don't know, ask me, I don't know. This is the time to know, to stunt on them. Any of your boldest fashion dreams is the time to live it out and wear it with confidence. Ultimately, confidence is it. It's what you need. Okay, so I'm like halfway done through the video. I still have so much more that I want to share with y'all. Make sure if you want to watch this full video day, my Fashion Week guide down below. It's going to be the longer version of this video with more details, but I still have so much more to share with y'all. So I want to talk about the power of press. Now, press is so powerful, y'all. This is why brands love press, because if you're a personal brand and you get press about you, if you're an influencer, blogger, content creator, whatever you are, you're pressed and you're featured, it basically pushes your brand up. It makes your brand seem more prestigious. So like the minute I was featured in Vogue, and I was also featured in Elle and all these other things after that, it made my brand just seem more esteemed, you know? It also helps me be able to negotiate higher rates, because people are like, oh wow, she's been featured in all of these like very well accredited publications. So you wanna get press. And the best way to get press, this is like a big tip to get press, is to literally go to these shows at a time. If that show starts at 1, be out there at 12, because you need to be out there for about 15 to 30 minutes posing for the photographers. You want to take that time to do that, because it's so many reasons why I tell people to go early. So one reason why you should go early shows for photographers, right? So one, let's say you took the train, right? Because there's no shame in taking the train to shows, but you might want to have flats with you, right? So if you're packing flats with you, which I recommend if you're a girl, pack flats. You can put the flats in like a cute little like Chanel, Fendi, or whatever, like shopping bag. Like you can go on eBay, you can purchase a little shopping bag that's like Chanel, Fendi, Gucci, because what happens is this: when you leave the train, right, in your flats, you want to put on your heels like when you're about a block or two away from the show, because you'll be shocked. Those photographers, they be already up there and you don't want to get photographed with the bomb outfit and then you're wearing your like train flats, right? But what you're gonna do is you're gonna, when you got the train, when you're a little close but not too far but not too close, you're gonna put those flats in the cute little bag and wear your heels, whatever. And then what's gonna happen is when you're getting photographed, it won't look weird if you have like a Chanel shopping bag or a Louis shopping bag, any shopping bag, it won't ruin your outfit. But if you're just like holding like flip-flops in your hand or like wearing this big grungy bag because you're trying to pack all this stuff, it looks weird. So pack like your extra little stuff, extra little snacks. If you like have a small purse, pack it in like the cute little luxury shopping bag. You want to get there earlier also just because you want to be able to stunt for the photographers. You want to be able to pose. And it's not just that you're posing, but you have to do this with intention, right? I highly recommend that you get like a business card. I know people say business cards are old fashioned, but I'm telling you, grassroots marketing is still in. Get a business card and make sure whatever, like, if you really want to take a step further, right? Whatever hairstyle that you have that day or fashion week, make sure that is on the card somewhere. So when these photographers are looking back on all the thousands of photos they took, they can remember, oh, this is Fennella from Fennella, like, well, because it's the girl with the afro on this card. They can tag you. Because what will happen is sometimes these Vogues and L's and Marie Claire's and Harpers Bazaar, sometimes they don't really find you. They go to the photographers, they take pictures from photographers, and then that's how they know who you are, right? But you don't want to be that person that you get this bomb press and then people don't even know it's you. You want people to know it's you. You get me? Other thing is you want to have time to network, to talk to people, not feel rushed. You never know who you're going to meet in that line. And I always tell people, like, we'll get into network a little bit better, but you never know who's who. But you want to get press. Press is so important. Like, people literally get dressed and go out there just to get pressed. I've seen girls out there stunting, wearing bomb outfits, bomb fros out there, posing, just slinging business cards while the show is going on. People don't let not getting into shows stop them from using fashion week to their advantage for their brand. I gotta tell you another like deeper thing, right? There are certain places that you can go to. The photographers are just gonna be there, right? So one of the places is Pier 59 Studios, another place is Spring Studios. These are places where a lot of shows do happen. So these are places that you do want to go, like let's say you have a little break or whatever, you're close by there. It doesn't hurt to go out there and just be photographed or whatnot, because it's going to help your brand in the long run. Other thing that some people do, especially like in Paris, people find out where the big shows are, like the Chanel show or Louis show or Off-White show, and they will literally go out there, not just the people watch, but they'll go out there, dress up, and just get photographed. Do you know that I feel like there's more people that don't get into those like high-end shows that just stand out there and get photographed than the people that actually get in sometimes. They will just stand out there and just get photographed and photographed. Okay, so let's say you made it to Fashion Week, which you will, right? And you like, okay, like the shows are during the day, but what else can I do? I got some gaps in between shows, because you probably will have gaps. There's so much you can do. There's after parties, there's networking events, there's panels, there's workshops, there's brand dinners. I've gone to a BH Photo event where BH Photo had like a workshop. They had Tessa there. I love Tessa. They had Lindsay Adler. I love Lindsay Adler's work. They had me like really feeling emotional and tearing up with their stories. But they did photography and like content workshop. They had like drinks, they had like bites, they had like you know, fun things, like they had like you can try on different coats. It was just such a beautiful event. It was so great. I saw people from Atlanta there as well. You'll be shocked when you go to fashion weeks. It starts to kind of get kind of small, especially when you start to go to like Paris. Like I go to Paris Fashion Week and like all the black people that are there, I usually like know them because we know each other from like New York. But you'll get shocked that a lot of people do go to New York Fashion Week, but not a lot of people go to Paris. So I always tell people like go to New York first, and then if you really bold like I am, go to Paris too. Which I'm working on a Paris Fashion Week guide for you guys, because like I don't want people to go to Paris too. But I think that once you go to New York, it's so easy to go to Paris. But Paris is very different though. Paris is different than New York. To me, I'll be honest, like Paris, the shows are beautiful. But New York is very, very fun. Like New York is fun. Like New York, you're gonna find something to do, you're gonna find people to meet up with, you're gonna network. Parisians are a little bit more reserved, but they're very serious about the clothes. Whereas I feel like New York, you'll be inspired more by the people. Paris, you're more inspired by the clothes. That's the biggest difference. But I recommend people go to both because it's kind of like there's not really a better option. Like they're both kind of really good. It's like in the South, I have to choose between a sweet tea or lemonade. I'm like, they're both really good. They're just a different vibe for different days. You get me? So you never know who's who. Y'all, I've actually also been to the Harpers Bazaar event. The Harpers Bazaar Icons Party, the one where Nicki and Cardi got into it. I've been there. I've actually been there with the stars. I saw Adriana Lima. I saw, what's her name? Like Sydney Sweeney, is that her name? The girl from Euphoria. I saw Sweetie. I saw Alicia Keys. Dapper Dan was there. Tiffany Haddish. There were so many celebrities there. There's so many people. And the world, you'll never know. The world can get so small. Like, that's why some people always like, you know, push your brand because you never know who's there. A week before that, there was a blogger, a big blogger. Y'all probably know her. She's huge. I'm not gonna say her name, but she was huge. And she was asking for free recommendations in Atlanta, and I wrote her like, go here. And she literally ended up going to the restaurant, reached out to her, like, thank you for tagging us in her stuff. She ended up going there. She said, thank you, Fennella, this recommendation was so good. I was at Harpers Bazaar and I saw her and I said, hey, I'm Fennella. She said, oh my gosh, I know you. She said, I remember you. She said, oh my gosh, you're here? And that was my first day that I had moved to New York when I was living there. She's like, wow, like, this is amazing. So, you know, it's good to put yourself out there and, you know, network even online before you come, because you never know. Just me giving her a quick recommendation. She has like millions of followers. She literally remembered me. She remembered you're the girl from Atlanta, they recommend this restaurant, the restaurant reached out to me, and she literally wrote thank you for the recommendation. Like, she literally, remember, I'm literally getting chills because I really look up to her, and it was just really crazy how she remembered me, how everything happened. But I'm telling you guys this because, like, sometimes you never know who's like watching you, which leads me to my next topic, which is networking. I'm gonna keep this simple. Do not ever be rude to nobody. You never know who nobody is. You guys think the designer might be important, but really the publicist is important. You never know who you're sitting next to, right? Like, you never know who you're around. I was nice to this girl, and the whole time this girl was a celebrity stylist for a huge Afrobeat artist. And because I was so nice to her, I didn't even know that. When she came in with the guy, right, and I was talking to her, she introduced me to him on a first name basis. She told this celebrity that y'all know, this is Fennella, like, whoa. And he was nice to see me and all of that. And I said to say, like, what if I was rude to her? What if I just thought she was just, who is she? You know, and she ended up actually, my other friend who I helped get into Fashion Week and model, she ended up styling them for their show. So now it was a thing of like, I could connect to her on multiple different things. This world gets so small, it gets so small. Network your butt off. You gotta be nice to people because you never know. I remember one time I had a front row seat and this lady was telling me, no, like the seat wasn't for me, this other blogger that was sitting there. And she was thinking the seat was like for her or somebody else. And I went back up and then the guy who was like, you know, handling like the seating or one of the people that worked there, he came with me and he was like, no, this is my seat. And like she had to like move and later on she apologized, but basically she was just like, she was being really rude like at first. And the thing was, it was like, you're actually sitting in my seat. I'm actually front row and you're like over there. And that's the thing, like, you want to be nice to everybody because you just never really know who someone is. She apologized, but I think you just don't want to look at someone and be like, oh, they're not sitting here, I'm sitting here. Because you really never know. And even with the front row, sometimes I've been front row and I've been genuinely shocked that I was front row. Like, I really didn't even know how. And other times, I guess I kind of knew or whatever. But like, sometimes I was front row. Most times I'm front row, like, I'm like, oh, I'm front row. Okay, cool. You just never really know who people are or how they're going to elevate or who they're going to be. So just be nice to everybody and be genuine about it. Overall, you want to maximize Fashion Week. You want to go there with a game plan to network and also to create content and build your brand. If you're an influencer and you do other things like restaurant collabs, go there and do that to maximize your time. Last time I was there, I did like 3 collabs. I did 2 with 2 different restaurants and then I did another one with like a facial place. They gave me a hydrofacial. Your girl was working. I did that and I went to brand dinners and I was going to different after parties and I was going to shows and I was editing this, editing that. I make sure that I do not just do shows anymore when I go to Fashion Week. Even when I was in Paris, I will ask everybody after the show, people who talk to me, invite me, hey, I want to go out to eat. And I literally met one of the most popular rappers in France right now that way. He wasn't big yet. His friend complimented my outfit. I was like, I like your outfits too. I was like, y'all want to come out to eat with us? They said, sure. You know, and they came out to eat with us. And they were showing us, everyone showing what they do. And he showed me his music. I said, whoa, I literally told him, I said, wow, you're going to blow up. Let me be your music video when you do. We became cool. I would post his stuff and support. He only had like 1,000 followers. Y'all, that guy has millions of followers now. He has music videos with over 300 million views now. I met him at Fashion Week. Although he was doing music was his goal, he was at Fashion Week. You never know who you're gonna meet. I've met so many amazing people, celebrities, all that through Fashion Week. You wanna be nice to everybody because I didn't know he's gonna blow up. Now he's huge. He's one of the biggest rappers in France, you know? And we're all literally just eating dinner a couple of years ago. Be nice to everybody. You never know who people are gonna become. Overall, I just want you guys to be inspired and just know that the biggest tip I can give you for Fashion Week is to build your brand. And that does not start at Fashion Week. That starts all year long. So all year long, you should be building your brand. That's what's gonna help you get into Fashion Week. That's what brands are gonna look at. They're gonna look at your social and what you're doing in order to accept you. Or you need to be building your portfolio, be a writer, be a stylist. You know, you can get into Fashion Week also by working at Fashion Week. It's not just by going to shows. You can get in there by working Fashion Week as well. Last thing I want to go over things that you would need for Fashion Week. And I think that you should get a portable charger. I think that you should have like walking shoes. I think that you should have snacks with you. I think that you should have a fan with you sometimes. Sometimes it gets hot in New York. I think you should have breath mints with you or a small mouthwash. I think that you should maybe have some sunglasses because you might be tired or whatever. I also think that you might want to take like a little like perfume with you just to reapply throughout the day, you know, and have like, you know, I told you guys about getting like a designer shopping bag to hold it and use that designer shopping bag to put your flats in but still look photogenic for when the paparazzi come, you know. These are things that you just want to have. Hand lotion, you know. And I highly recommend getting cards and put your face on the card so people can know whatever hairstyle you go there with, whatever, have it on the card. That way you give people who you meet if you're rushing or whatever, or you give it to photographers who are taking your picture. You can also just have like a QR code as well. That's another thing you can do as well. These are just all things that I think that you should invest in for Fashion Week. With clothes and stuff like that, definitely pull clothes from designers. If you get the guide, the Fashion Week guide, we literally have A to Z, the script of how to pull from designers. It's gonna save you so much money, y'all. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Those of you that are interested in the guide, make sure to look down below to get it. I also have a group called Echelon 12, which is my group where we pour out wisdom for those who want to learn more about fashion, media, and branding. It's kind of like a fashion club for those of us that really want to learn more and take the craft to the next level. We're going to have different workshops, we're going to have different events, different things where you'll learn photography, you'll learn styling, all of that as well. And also, if you join Echelon 12 right now, it's free. So we'll be posting shows that we find that you can just RSVP to and whatnot in there as well for Fashion Week. So make sure you join Echelon 12. It's free for now to the rest of the year. We'll be doing a lot of cool things in there and whatnot. And I just want to tell you guys, like, go to Fashion Week. Like, I really hope I see y'all there. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the guide, the wig, all that. Support your girl. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. But make sure to get that guide. If you already got it and you're watching this, thank you for getting it. If anything you think I can improve, let me know. Anything that you really like, let me know. If you're at Fashion Week, tag me in your stories, let me know you're there. I want to see y'all there. But if you haven't got that guide, get that guide, because if you did not get the guide, you're watching the abbreviated version of this video. But for those of you that got the guide, y'all got all the goodies, including my secrets on how I, send emails the right way and how I get this and get that and the things I think you need and all of that. Y'all got every single ounce of advice from me. But don't worry, even if you don't get the guide, because I know the economy is not amazing right now, but even if you didn't get the guide, the video that I'm putting on YouTube right now that you're watching on YouTube, it's enough to get into Fashion Week. Just gotta use the advice and believe in yourself and go. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And for those of you that got the guide, thank you guys for buying it. Love you guys.